You know, it's been a while since I did an anime-related video. So, what I'm going to talk about here is this possible revival of Toonami. Well, what Adult Swim did on April 1st, rather than showing that really shitty movie, The Room, they started out with the beginning of that movie, like the first 5 minutes or whatnot, and then all of a sudden, holy shit, Tom? What the hell? And then the whole night was Toonami's old programming, and it was pretty sweet. And then the next day comes, because after that I was kind of doubting that this was permanent, and in a way it kind of wasn't. But what Adult Swim said on their Twitter was that there's a possible revival of Toonami if fans would sign this hashtag #BringBackToonami. And you know, fans are gonna do that, obviously. Now the fanboys were acting like total bitches over it being one night, and I could see some frustration, but you know, you gotta understand that they don't have those licenses to most of those shows anymore, and they can only air them by promoting their DVDs, and that's it. And all these Toonami fanboys think they got trolled by Adult Swim. Bitch, if you got trolled, they would use the ugly-looking Tom and only air Naruto fillers and Dragon Ball GT. In my opinion, anyways. The Tom they did use, though, was Tom 3, which in my opinion was the coolest looking Tom. What I want to see this new version of Toonami do is a mixture of old and new. Yeah, I know it's pretty hard to get some of the old stuff back, but let's just hear me out. I would totally like to see Outlaw Star on there again. They aired it on the April Fool's night, but you know, it has been a long time since I actually watched that anime, and it still holds up. It's a pretty good show. Wolf Fighter G Gundam, I definitely would love to see. G Gundam, in my opinion, was one of the coolest Gundam animes out there. And what else is there? I'd like to see some Tenchi on here. The older ones anyways, not the crappy newer OVAs that they showed on April 1st. I don't know why they aired those, but I've seen the OVA beforehand, the Ryo Oki. I saw that beforehand, and I thought it sucked. But it's nowhere as bad as some of the spin-offs, I'll say that much. And I know this airs on Adult Swim like every Saturday night, but Big O. And I mean Season 1, the Adult Swim's only been showing Season 2 for a long-ass time, and Season 1 never really gets aired anymore. So, Season 1 of Big O, please, so we can have the whole series. Some of my ideas for newer stuff that could air. Let's see. Soul Eater. I could totally see them airing Soul Eater. Just because. Soul Eater's kick-ass shonen anime. Kanan, if you want a series about an ass-kicking female, here's your show. And this is only assuming that Toonami will be a part of Adult Swim, which that's what I'm mainly assuming. You could argue that it won't be, but seeing as that it's Adult Swim. High School of the Dead. Hopefully they can air this. I know Adult Swim tried getting Elfin Lead at one point, and that's a rumor, but they couldn't air it because of the censorship they would have to do. But High School of the Dead, I'd like to see this. Eden of the East, pretty interesting show. I could see this on the new Toonami. And for some old school action, Slayers, because Slayers, in my opinion, is one of the best 90s anime. Okay, this is one of the newer seasons that I have in my hand right now, but the entire series, from the original all the way up to Evolution R, I'd want to see an Adult Swim Toonami. I would totally dig seeing some D. Grayman or Fairy Tail on there. Those are pretty good shows, but I never finished watching them for some reason. I forgot to mention this, but yeah, I would totally love to see Rurouni Kenshin come back. That was a pretty good series, and it was one of my favorite Shonen Jump animes, I'll tell you that. Now this one seems a little unlikely because Aniplex of America decided not to dub this one, which is bullshit. And that's Blue Exorcist, and that's an excellent series in my opinion. That would be a pretty good series for Toonami. And for a pretty good mech show that's not Gundam or whatnot, how about some Full Metal Panic? Couldn't hurt to try. And if you decide to make a new Tom, for the love of God, please don't give him a face. And if it turns out that Toonami is not a part of Adult Swim, if you want to hear some American cartoons on there, hey, how about bringing back some Megas XLR for some reruns? Megas XLR was the shit, and I fucking love that show. If you want to give Tom 2 co-hosts, that's fine, but don't make him those generic and unlikable characters Flash and D again. Those guys sucked. But what I would like to see is a return of Sarah, and for a good old retro trip, have Moltar join in. Because, hey, we brought back Brack and Zorak for the Cartoon Planet revival. Why not give us Moltar again? He hasn't been used since Coast to Coast ended. So, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. And, I'm out.